Hey guys, today's story is about a cheating player that gets upset when he's punished. This one is kind of old, but one of my favorite moments as a DM, because it's eye-rolling, hilarious, and I feel it demonstrates my skill as a game master. We were playing Pathfinder. We were rebooting a previous game with some new PCs at about level 6. We have a fire wizard, a rogue, a two-hand fighter, a life cleric, and a gunslinger. The gunslinger ended up being the big problem. He started the game with a created magic item that let him use Blink 3 times a day. In Pathfinder, Blink makes you flicker back and forth between the material and ethereal plane for the duration. This, understandably, does a bunch of stuff. It makes all physical attacks have a flat 50% chance to miss. Makes all of your attacks have a 20% chance to miss, lets you move through solid objects that are less than 5 feet thick, reduces the damage you take from area of effect damage, as well as just in general being a strong spell. This immediately started causing problems. The first fight was against a marauding pack of gnolls on their way to the real objective. From the get-go, he was running into the middle of combat, blasting both pistols, heedless of danger due to his Blink item. The way he checked for it was he rolled a d10, saying nothing, looking at it, and then informing me whether it missed because of the Blink. And, wouldn't you know it, almost every single attack against him is consumed by the Blink spell, but not a single one of his is. Imagine that. I ask him what the system is he's using for it. Whether it's highs or lows, odds or evens, what numbers he's using for his own attacks, etc. He says,
"Highs I missed, lows I miss."
I tell him that's a little confusing, and ask to see his next roll. He rolled his eyes, but he agreed. Next attack against him hits. He rolls immediately, picks it up before I can see, and tells me it's a miss. I remind him that I said to let me see his roll, and he informs me,
"You need to be quicker, just get the next one."
Now, I'm a pretty permissive DM, but when crap like that happens, the gloves come off. I told him to re-roll it, and from now on, any concealment, displacement, or any other crap to do with his rolls that I don't see don't count. I informed the rest of the party about this. They agreed. All except for the gunslinger. He argued that combat already took long enough, that he feels targeted, etc. I told him that the only other option is I roll for everyone's mischance myself, and he shut up immediately. I have him re-roll the Blink chance, and it came up a 2, and he says,
"See, the thing missed me."
I looked at him, almost glaring.
"Dude, what did you say to me before about how your system works?"
He rolls his eyes again, and says,
"Highs I miss, lows I missed."
I inform him that that is wrong. I confer with the other players who confirm what they heard, that he literally just said the opposite a few seconds ago. He immediately went on the offensive.
"You're all ganging up on me, this isn't fair."
I told him that, from now on, any attack on him that scores low misses. Any attack he makes that checks low also misses. That we're going to be consistent and easy. No more of this shifting goalpost bullcrap. He argued for a second, but I moved on. Sometimes as a GM, you just have to put your foot down and move on. Right near the end of the fight, someone shot an arrow at him, and he threw a d10. It came up as a 0, and he said,
"Missed, nice try."
I said to him,
"Dude, that hit. What is wrong with you?"
He looked at me with this kinda tired anger.
"You said a low's miss, that's a 0. That's a low, you idiot."
"No, that's a d10. 0 on a d10 is a 10. As in 1 more than 9. As in high. Are you screwing with me right now?"
He tried to appeal to the rest of the group to back him up, but that didn't happen. though he was able to waste 10 minutes of my life arguing that 10 is less than 5. So, that was a thing. So at this point, I was super done with this. We just started and I already have cheating, players challenging my calls, a jerk attempting to gaslight, and we're only maybe 2 hours in. I don't want to ban him for various out-of-game reasons, but I need to do something about this. So I decide to alter the adventure to make things a little bit more interesting. Their adventure was to go and look into a village that had to be abandoned due to, what they were told, were a bunch of ghosts. They talked to a few escaped villagers who spoke of monsters appearing out of thin air and attacking them. They got a few pairs of goggles that would let them see immaterial things from a local witch. They then set off to look into it. When they got into town, they started poking around. They made some perception checks and looked around. They found some odd husks. One of them found a locked bathroom with a dead guy in it and no window someone could have attacked from. They look around with the goggles and see no ghosts. They assumed the spirits must have come out at night. So they rested until nightfall and follow after some movement they saw in the square. As they approached, something monstrous attacked the fire wizard. They all rolled initiative, and Gunslinger popped his item. And then it all came together. Originally, I was planning on playing the adventure straight, just having a bunch of ghosts infesting a village that the PCs had to clear out. I replaced those ghosts with spiders, specifically a mating pair of phase spiders, which is an ambush predator that weaves the smoky stuff of the ethereal plane into tangled nests and jaunt through the planes to attack their prey. Sort of like a trapdoor spider, except instead of springing out of an obscured hole in the ground, they pop out of thin air and are the size of a horse. So the party is getting attacked by a couple of these things, shifting in and out of the ethereal plane. The fire wizard is hitting them with magic missile. The two-handed fighter and rogue are holding their actions and landing strong attacks on the things when they shift back in to attack. And the life cleric is healing up anyone who gets ambushed. As for the gunslinger, well, he was dying. Remember how blink works? It causes a target to bounce back and forth between the material and ethereal plane. The ethereal plane is where these things live, and that's where their young are. The baby spiders are smaller, but still the size of a large dog. Since he's the only one on the ethereal plane, he's the only one they can attack. By round 2, the gunslinger was mobbed by hordes of ravenous spiderlings, and nobody could help him. He rips off the item that lets him cast Blink, but I tell him that the item just lets him cast the spell. It isn't the source of the ongoing effect. He started demanding that the fire wizard or life cleric cast Dispel Magic on him, but they were too busy fighting the mature spiders. They keep attacking him for the whole fight, 8 of these things constantly surrounding him. Around 4 hitting every round on account of the Blink spell, still halting about 50% of their attacks. I have a wonderful opportunity to describe the gunslinger popping around the battlefield, gradually growing more and more haggard as the tiny spiders are ripping him to pieces. One time, a critical making one of them hang off his face when he shifts back to the material plane. After a few rounds, he died. And I have some great fun describing his flickering body gradually losing more mass as the baby spiders started eating him, and I actually started to get compliments on how evocative I managed to make it. The gunslinger's player was pissed, and sat there fuming with rage for a good portion of the fight until he rather abruptly grabbed his stuff and left, taking the life cleric with him because they rode together. I asked the life cleric's player if I can control his character for the rest of the fight, and Gunslinger's player answered,
No.
I got a text about 10 minutes after they left from the cleric's player that told me that I can use his character, and the fight finished with victorious players. We finished the session with the remaining players actually using the gunslinger's magic item on the entire party over a few rounds so they could clear out the baby spiders and burn their nest. Everyone said it was a fun adventure, and we go home. Later that week, I got a call from the gunslinger's player, and he demanded that I retcon his death because he felt he was targeted unfairly. This was absolutely true, of course, but I tell him that I will do no such thing. He quits the game, and the game was better off for it. My favorite part about the story is that the spiders hitting the village ended up being an interesting twist that I managed to foreshadow effectively despite pulling it out of my butt literally minutes before they encountered it. This still gets talked about sometimes, and it was conceived entirely out of punitive bitterness. But in any case, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you have a story that you'd like me to narrate, let me know. And as always, thanks for watching, and have a good one.